Hey everybody, what's shaking? I've got the wicked lady hippie at the bar, meaning I'm at home at my bar. No need for Uber. I'm hoping to reach out to every hippie. This is the best thing that was invented since air conditioning. Y'all need to jump up here and talk like we used to in the 70s, only now it's legal. Let's see, a bit of background, Army veteran, published author, grandmother, mother, and my son my grandson is also an Army veteran. Gives you a clue, but thanks for the compliments. Now, guys, I got live chat open. I'm hoping that I see some of my guys on here. I sent it out on Facebook yesterday, and I haven't really been on Facebook much for the past year and a half between the accident and all the rest of the nonsense. So come in. You're more than welcome. Grab a drink. Find out whether this old lady's nuts or not. I don't make any money doing this. I'm not averse to making money. I just don't. I do not drop videos unless I'm asked to because I figure you've seen all the damn things anyway. And for me, it's like plagiarism. I mean, maybe because I'm a published author, but I hate to go in and find my hair is having a bad hair day. I apologize. But in any event, I just have a problem unless I'm asked to go and get a video to discuss because I figure, like I said, everybody's seen it. So I generally get up here and opine and hope that people jump into live chat and comment. This is the best thing since air conditioning. I'm telling you, man, this is Woodstock, and you don't have to go nowhere. I love this thing. I started about 3 years ago. I did start 3 years ago. I had a hiatus because I was severely injured and literally couldn't get out of bed. So I didn't do Facebook, nothing, because like my eyebrows hurt. So I was done. I tried to sleep a whole year away. I really tried. Didn't, but I worked it. So I tell everybody, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn it down. I like my music in the background, but apparently YouTube doesn't say, or they say, you can't use music. I mean, it's on the radio, so I'm not sure why there's copyrights, but apparently that somehow shows up. So instead of having a louder version of music at my bar, I turn it down when I'm not up here. My husband lets me have my little cigars when I'm online, and I come up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now, not every day like I used to. But he gives me that choice because I had to quit smoking, so only this. They go out while I'm talking. He loves that. And he brings me whiskey fireballs. He always stocks my bar with whiskey fireballs. We have all kinds of stuff at the bar, but he knows I love those. So he buys a bucket of those. I love the little airplane bottles. And I drink my whiskey on ice. I've been drinking whiskey for a long time. I always thought it was stupid to order 10 pina coladas and go, I'm not drunk yet. I tried those screwdrivers. I mean, you name it. And I found that I'd rather have my whiskey on the rocks and I'm good to go. Whiskey, Scott, bourbon. I want to know I drank the fuck something. Mind you, not for kids. Sorry, that kind of slips out again. Army veteran, we were the first company women to train with the men. When we got on the plane, we were going to WAC training, Women's Auxiliary Corps in Alabama at Fort McClellan. They closed Fort McClellan while in the air. They landed us at Fort Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina, which is a major training base for the men. So they told the women, which we didn't know till we landed, and they had gotten us on a bus and then got us into the base. And they were like, you women, if you don't want to stay, it's, not going to be a big thing. We'll pay you a month's salary or some shit, and we'll send you back home. There's no bad record or anything. And we girls kind of looked at each other. It was like, fuck that, bring it on. I was all of 5'2", 90 pounds. I kid you not. And the first thing I did was fuck up. I had rank when I went in because I graduated high school twice. I was bored at college. And I'm still waiting to go. My parents actually signed, so I could go at 17. Wasn't a hurt. And life is short. So off I went. And I'm from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised. And so the drill sergeant, he's rifling through. Yes, we had paper back then, guys. It wasn't a phone. And he was rifling through the paperwork, and he's going, Bullock, you don't have any record of anything at all? And you sure you're from Cook County, Chicago, Illinois? I'm like, so I tried to avoid that the best I could. I didn't want a record. But I fell out. Everybody else did too. We've been up like 4 days by then. I kid you not. I was watching men faint. The women are hanging out, but the men were fainting. We all got shots, and the men were just boop, boop. Nobody tried to catch them boys. It's just playing it. I got to admit, it was funny as shit. Especially also watching the haircuts. I went in with an army haircut. My cousins, nephews, and had fought in Vietnam. I was Vietnam era. My husband's Vietnam. Luckily, we did not have to go, I guess, because I was trained as a nurse and a secretary, so I would have, fall back on either one or what was necessary. But we went to basic training at Fort Jackson. We were trained by, how did they put that? We jump out of helicopters and kill people. So no sachet kind of stuff. And when he said this, I fell out. He was like, bullet. Oh, fuck. I have not counted on it yet because, like I said, cousins, nephews, all of them told me about this. Just don't volunteer for anything and keep your mouth shut. I don't fuck that up before I got there. So Goldie Hawn did a pretty good job of me. I think they gave her my part in Private Benjamin. Watch it if you've not seen it. It's Goldie Hawn. It's pretty good. It gives you like 1/10 of you. But we kicked that door down, and it was absolutely hilarious. And he was like, "Bullock, you're mine now. Your name's I'm just going to you wicked, and you're mine." And I'm thinking, what does the fuck it mean by mine? I mean, I'm 17, probably the only virgin at the 50-state reference here. And I'm freaked the fuck out. And he did. He called me wicked, and it stuck. People still call me wicked today. I am not a young chicken, but my age is still a state secret. I'm so sorry. Please I thank you so much. I opened my closet door this morning. My closet said, it just slammed shut. So I tried I got 3 closets. So I tried another closet. I said, what you got in there for a woman my age? And again, the door slammed shut. I was like, honey, time to go shopping. So I settled for this dress. It goes to the floor, and it's really lovely dress. It's got the little cups, gives it a little bit of flounce, and so I like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with this. And I think y'all probably have seen it before. Generally, it's kind of cute because I try not to wear the same thing twice, especially if I'm going somewhere. And it's funny. I should just do that. Maybe put on shorts, but I don't. I've got the summer dress on. I'm retired. I'm not 20-year-old anymore, and I've done wore those shorts out when I was 20, baby. I had a lot of fun. I really did. My son was born in Heidelberg, Germany, and he loved San Antonio, which was my first duty station. So I took him back there. We went back 6, 7 times. Now I'm in Augusta, Georgia. Have been for 15 years. Longest place I've ever lived in my entire life. And my son and my daughter-in-law are going, well, we want you to go ahead and move to our 10 acres when we build our house. And we're looking at each other going, at our age, you want us to fucking move again? We just bought your house. So you could buy the big house because you ended up pregnant when your son was 13. So you wanted a bigger place. You actually didn't need one. But we scaled down. I mean, we literally got rid of a house of furniture because you had to really be small time in here. So my husband bought me furniture and did all that. And then when just before I got hurt, he had taken out all the carpets because we've been here 15 years. And I shampooed him like every week because he was fighting cancer at one point and a stage 4. And he rang the bell. Although the hospice girls were all telling him, you made it because of her. She was in there. You never had any germs near you. And he didn't. He had open feeding tubes and stuff like that. So, I applied the medicine. I was his only caregiver, but I made sure, and we have cats, we have dogs then too. And so I made sure that he was all like sterilized in there, bedding was changed every night or morning, depending how bad I was off, because I went through stuff too. So I had 6 surgeries done. And then I had this accident recently, and I had some major surgery. I had a team that worked on me and blocked one of the nerves in my leg to where it wouldn't feel nothing. It looked like acupuncture. I was watching them do it. They had my leg over on a cart over here. I was like, this is not dignified. And they were laughing. They thought I was funny. I was serious. So I've been having one of those years. I need to get to my hairdresser. So again, bad hair day, mea culpa, many, many, many mea culpas. So I don't know what everybody wants to talk about. I keep hoping you guys will throw in live chat or comments. But maybe you will later. My first channel was Wicked Lady Hippy at the bar. No, it was Wicked Lady Hippy. And I had to change it when I came back off my hiatus because I hadn't used it much, and it had been parked, kind of, sort of. They didn't cancel it, but they kind of paused it, and I was able to put two out, I think, before it just kept freezing up. And I said, well, maybe there's too many in it because I had, like I said, when I started at first, I did 7 days a week, and I had so much fun with it. I can't find my guys who were on the first channel, so I'm hoping they find me over here because I didn't do anything but add. I think it was bar and live. I don't, I didn't add much to it, so it's still Wicked Lady Hippy. And yeah, like I said, I still have my son knows my nickname. So I moved here 15 years ago, I said, son, can you just open up a Gmail account for me? Because I got to redo all this stuff, right? And at that point, I worked IT behind the scenes, medical, so forth, and I was tired. And, they had changed everything every year and a half on us through the 80s and 90s. So you were always in college trying to figure out what the fuck they were doing. With Donnie Trump, I like Donnie. And if you can talk Kid Rock Bob, he's got a great sense of humor. I don't get it. He's really witty, and he's got this dry sense of humor. It's pretty funny if you would unask your feelings about, I don't know what it is, but you don't like Trump. Well, I didn't like a fucking lot of them, but it's the president. You show respect. But just get a fucking grip. I'm proud to be an American, and I am not proud of the people in America lately. One more person I see with a bullhorn, I'm gonna make. If it's Atlanta, I'm gonna go find that person. Make sure you know where the nearest hospital is so they can remove that from where I'm going to put it. These people stupid enough to get in my face, they will regret that for the rest of their small lives. I promise you. I'm from Chicago. I don't play fair. I was trained in karate from the time I was 8, 7, and all the way into and after the military. So up until I was 29 or 30 when I stopped doing that. And I like sword fights. I like all that stuff. My school had that. We had fencing, we had archery, we had all that. I showed my husband my school, and he said, "You can go to fucking school? That's a," cracked me up when he did it. "That's a resort or something." And it's bigger than most colleges. There's a lot of attendees for these schools. And we made the news, I saw last year, I think it was, with the crazy mayor at Thornton Township. Our school was, my school, it said that in the title, Thornton Township High School. So I immediately tuned in. I was like, oh, it's the mayor who's been spending millions of dollars. This girl had it going on. She had the hair, the nails, the outfits. I think one day they said she spent $47,000 at Target or something. I don't know. You'd have to look her up. I'm just saying, it's just corrupt. There's so much corruption that I actually heard and watched a mayor for it. It was Thornton Township. She was mayor of in another area, but I'm not sure where that was. And I was just shaking my head, going, "It's Chicago. What do I expect? It's just, it's always been dirty." My brother and my adopted father could teach me some things again, I'm sure. Unfortunately, by the grace of God, they've gone to home. I'll see them when I get there. I'm the last surviving member of my family, which is probably a good thing for everybody. I only have one child, so I wanted to get up here and talk about a few things. The boy who's 18 years, Harry, I believe his name was, you'll see it on YouTube if you look, or Sky News Australia has it. This boy was stabbed in the back 5 times by a sheikh, or whatever you want to call it, with the turban. And they arrested this 18-year-old boy. They forced him into handcuffs. He'd been stabbed in the back 5 times, and he kept telling them that he'd been stabbed. And they said, "I don't think so, mate." And then they brutally handcuffed this boy with his hands behind his back, and he kept screaming. He couldn't breathe right. He was dying. This boy died under the care of these bastards. They didn't barely look at this boy. He had 5 stab wounds, and he died in handcuffs. That's a bad part. The other bad part is the person that stabbed him 5 times said he was the one with the knife and disabled him. So they brought him along. They didn't bother to handcuff him or anything because the dying boy. And they did finally call 999, but he was gone. And the parents had to deal with the fact that their 18-year-old son was stabbed in the back 5 times, and they locked him up, or would have if he'd lived. And his murderer was just guided on into a car. Hey, come talk to us. This was the planning of the body camera footage that was released. I don't know how the parents. I felt the parents when I was watching him. The boy was sentenced to 20 years. That's nothing for a life. They need to read. We used to. I love Texas. We put back the death penalty. They don't have it, I don't think, in Georgia, but they might. And this would stop. So you stabbed him 5 times in the back with this weapon? Okay. You double tapped this guy? Was it this gun? Okay. Do then what they did to their victims, and maybe they would stop this shit. None of this, oh, you go to jail for life shit. They didn't give their victims life. They knew what they were doing. They knew they were murdering. They set out to murder him. This is murder beyond a question of a doubt. Beyond a question of doubt. So why the fuck should you put him in jail for 20 years and let the bastard out? So you're going to clothe and feed him and medical him while he's in there. So he's going to have a good time. This guy, he's at the spa. This is Britain. And I'm British. I found out my son sent me the DNA kit for Christmas. So and I knew anyway. I knew he was Irish with the red hair and hazel eyes. But yes, I'm British. Yeah, got a little bit of England and Irish and Scottish, which is normal really for Britain. So I knew this even without the test, which I told my son. He's like, you don't know. And so I now have my Scottish kilt and all that. I love my tumblers if I can turn it the right way. That's my crest. And that was fun to find, being adopted. Didn't find that until I was over 30. But maybe I'll write another book about that. My only advice for people who've been adopted and they're like 30 or 40 or what have you, and they contact you, be polite, hang up the phone, quickly call the operator or whoever, change your number, get out of your house, throw, some holy water and a match behind you, leave the state, color your hair. I'm just saying, it does not work out very well all the time. And again, I need to write a book about that. But I think the only ones they show are the ones at the very beginning. Are great. It lasts about a week. And then they don't like you because you're not what they expected. For me, I was a career woman, and they didn't like that. They liked my sister, who was just a homebody. She had 5 kids. No, I had one child, and that was a fucking enough. Wasn't supposed to have him too. Well, I love that. But, I think everybody that knows me buys me the little airplane bottles. These are the whiskey fireballs. Put a big time cinnamon behind it. So I throw a little OJ and some ice. So while I'm up here with you, I'm drinking at my bar. I get to smoke something, but I don't get to stay on here for about an hour. Well, actually, it doesn't seem to have a time limit. But I figure, well, we might as well stop one. I got things to do. Besides the boy in Britain dying, there's also like the young girl that died on the tram in North Carolina, wasn't it, Charlotte? Yeah. And stabbed her 3 times in the neck. There were people right there. They tried to stop it. They tried to help the girl. They didn't do nothing. They acted like they hadn't seen the shit thing. That girl was sanguinated in about 3 minutes. Just a baby girl who had come here from the war-torn country of Ukraine. She didn't walk across illegally. She came legally. She learned the language. She was working 2 jobs. And this bastard murdered her. I don't even know. I haven't heard a goddamn thing back. Sorry. Well, no, not sorry. I haven't heard anything about what they've done to this bastard that did this. And the one that killed Harry I think it was London, but it was in Britain. And it's just now come to light, maybe because it came out in court. I don't know, but he was sentenced at 21 years. Probably give him 8. I've heard of others getting that. I'd be waiting. My weapons have laser sight because I'm a little older. I know the police frown on that, but in America, you can do that, which is why I live in America. Y'all can come on over. We like you guys. I saw one, it was funny to me. I saw one British young man, and he was trying to get his dad to buy a T-shirt, and it said 1776, right? That's all it said on it. The 1776. I don't know what they thought that meant, but that's our year of independence. So we thought that was funny. I've seen a couple other things that need to be done I don't know what in all of God's creation can people who are in power steal for a decade or more and make billions disappear. And yet the people in power, that's their job. They got one fucking job. So where did the money go? One fucking job. You got one fucking job. Yeah. How would you do that? Yeah, I didn't think so either. I'm just saying. Britain used to be a great place. When I was overseas, I loved going and taking off and get to London for the weekend, and Italy, France too. I mean, basically, I got around Amsterdam. Yeah, I loved Europe. I loved Europe, and everything was so old. There were people that had been living in houses that were 600 years old. For God's sake, this is a very old country compared to our 250 years. But then we only count us. We don't count the Native Americans who were here for thousands of years before us. My husband is a Native American. We call him the card carrying Indian because he's registered with the Bureau of Indian Affairs in DC. I may send him a card to say they're Native American. I love that. I wonder if I can apply for one in Britain to see. I'm a British descent. Maybe you all should give me a couple of days on the holiday system. You give out a month. Once you cut that in half, and get in there and take care of the Irish population. Just a thought. I know they frown on that shit. Most of you, if you saw my Facebook last night and you decided to come in and see if you could see me at any time, again, throw the comments in, live chat. You can give a like, a subscribe, share it with somebody, for God's sakes. I've been doing this up to 3 years, and I lost my first audience because I was just gone. And I had recorded 2 videos to explain why I was gone when I still had pain pills. But I had to stand up on crutches and lean against the front to do that. And I ate a lot of pain pills that day because I couldn't put pressure on it for a year. They wouldn't even let me out of a cast, put me in camo, but it was just a soft cast. You couldn't stand on it. You just had it immobilized. I got more metal in my leg than most cars. So I pass our small little airport going to the VA and lights start blinking, sirens go off. Somebody's in there in a telegram. Da, 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 da. It's me. Same thing when I get to the VA. My VA is only 5 miles from us. The freaky thing is, we used to bring my father-in-law up here. We lived in Fort Valley, it's below Macon, and he did live there. And we would take him up here. It was a 3-hour drive, and let him be seen by his VA. Back then, it was terrible. It was just one big open floor thing. They gave you a number, and they'd get around to calling you in about 4 or 5 hours. I kid you not. We would get there at dawn, and we would leave at midnight. But the awful thing was that he passed away in the VA hospital. This was about 20 years ago. So it's deja vu for me because I've been here 15 years now. That I moved to a place, and at first it didn't even hit me. I had many surgeries at the VA. The clinic one is uptown, and the VA is a hospital that my father-in-law passed in, is downtown. And that's where they do surgeries and all that. So it was very wicked, and I didn't actually catch up to the other. Oh, wait a minute. That's why I know this hospital. My father-in-law passed here. And like I said, we used to bring him for years, to his appointments. Back then it was terrible. It was really terrible. Now they've opened that second one. They did that, I guess, in the time that had passed CPAS, because I've seen more at the clinic. Unfortunately, I seem to be, I don't know, clumsy is a word, I don't know what, but I've been in and out of the hospital, surgeries and so forth for about 4 years now. I'm tired. They pissed me off one time. They said I could leave. Okay, I got dressed in my civilian clothes, got out of that stupid gown, get ready to go home, and they come back and they say, "No, you can't leave. Doctor can't see you till tomorrow." I was like, "Fuck you, I'm leaving now." Good damn what that doctor's doing. Well, you'll have to sign this. Well, bend over. Let me sign this. Nurses today aren't nothing but little scanners. Yep, that's the same barcode. I'm here. You couldn't get your bedding changed. I had pneumonia. It killed me in the 90s. And actually, I had actually had hit the brink of death, and they brought me back. And I made a DNR, do not resuscitate order after this happened. But yeah, I pulled through and all that. But you can't say, okay, we've got time for this, we got time for that. Do something with the veterans, help the veterans. This is the ones that gave your country everything it's got. everything. We have a volunteer military. I don't know what else you want us to do. I served, and I was proud to be the one to kick that door down for the women. It's like I told my girls, because I was in charge. I was like, you can fold all you want, general fucking break. Now you can, but general break, or I get you. I'm just fine to put nothing. And they were scared of me. I couldn't figure that out. I really couldn't. Yeah, well, I did practice fencing moves and karate moves just to stay in shape on that point. But my best friend was a sergeant. I can't remember her name now, okay, but she was 6'2", and so she was my buddy. Nobody fucked with me. Oh, the CO did. Yes, come type this, come type that. And this is back when you did not have Xerox. So they wanted 15 copies. So you had to type it 15 times or get carbon paper and only do it half that many times. If you don't miss any words or what have you, it's the carbon paper. You can't correct that shit. Finally, they came up with electric typewriters. By the time I got to Europe, they were there. I was in heaven. So those manuals, man, I could move. I've been all over the world. I don't know what else I can tell you about me. Other than you can see I'm a board-bred hippie. I think hippies need to reunite, man. This is the best thing since air conditioning was invented. Are you kidding me? We can talk to each other from around the blooming world. It's like the '70s show. We used to sit around in my friend's basement, who was the house over from me, and her dad, mom. I called them by their names. I mean, they loved all the kids. We all knew each other's parents and all that. And so we would go over to the basement. And there's a pool table and all that, refrigerator, and there was popsicles. I mean, they stocked it for us, so we could have. That was our place. So it was really weird to see it up there. We was like, they got the circle. Luckily, it's legal now. Even the VA declared it legal, although they'll probably frown and ask you, to be, what was it? The ones, oh, you're dirty. Fuck off. Hey, you're dirty. Yeah, right. Tell me this shit. That shit grows by God. The only thing you hurt, and this isn't even pot. Pot, again, is they've done enough. These were victimless crimes that people ended up decades in the who's gal about this through my lifetime in the last 40 years or so. I can see the others being regulated. I can't see going to jail for a nonviolent crime, and it grows free. It's a weed, but they can't let you have that. So they invented an offshoot that is fucking awesome. They send it to your door in a brown box. Love that stuff. My husband likes the goodies. He gets the goodies for me next to Walmart. Get a little shop. I'm freaked out. I never thought I'd see any of this. And when I turn around and I say, "Oh, it's 2026," I'm like, "No, really? It cannot be 2020. We're in another century, and we've over a quarter of the way through. It's like knock knock. Where the hell's my brain? Did you tell me anything about time collapsing?" And my brain was like, "Go back to the front." You'll feel better in a minute. And I hurt my back really bad 3 days ago. So I look like the old woman that I am when I get up and down. I'm like, ooh, ooh, but I'm still doing it. It's getting a little bit better each day. I don't know. There was the boy in Britain that I was talking about, Charlie Kirk. I always like to mention his name. May he be a blessing to all of us. Amen. And oh, there goes. Okay, I hate it when it does this. Hey, I think we're back. I have to get a new jack or something, or not move because it gets in the way. I keep, turning them around, try something. That's why I've always my husband cost my little tiaras because, as you can see, I have these on because it will hold the earphones from going over my face. I'm still little. I don't play fair. I'm actually quite dirty on a fight. I won't take you down if I have to get a baseball bat and catch up to you. And I'm old now. I don't give a shit. I'm bored. I mean, Joe, I ain't never been there. Something else they frown on. But I did see that, and I saw London imploding about all of this. We've been imploding about all of this. That they're taking care of all these people that are here illegally, and they're supposed to have the right to legal counsel and a trial because they're here what, illegally? Do you need a judge to say, yeah, you caught them on what, the Rio Grande? On the Mexico side? Yeah, well, we did fight a war about that, fellas. We won. Yeah. California is the United States. Estados Unidos, eh? Mm-hmm. Think about it. I remember seeing Gaddafi, I believe it was, at his UN address saying, "You will be using Sharia laws soon. We're going to use your own laws against you. We're going to move to your cities, your country, and we're going to get you." And that was the 80s. And I had been in Europe long enough to see a few bad things happen in the 80s, late 70s, um, but nobody was stopping it. And then we had Weekend at Bernie's for 4 years. Oh, Dr. Jill, don't you just love that broad? She's out promoting a book. She honestly didn't know. The doctor told her he might have had a small stroke, but there was no sign that he was impaired in any way. You know, these Chinese dramas I watch, and ladies, you gotta look up the Chinese dramas. Oh my God, oh my God. Maybe it's because I'm old now. Uh, I remember seeing those men, but I was in the army at the time. Those are some good looking boys, ladies. You need to look at that shit. If you're 19, go to China. Learn to act. They're lucky just doing that. I mean, you probably won't get next to him any other way. You got to look. Look and see what Chinese dramas top 15 men are. I needed a drink just after I saw it. Oh my God, give me a whiskey. Mm. Like they took care of these babies. Them mamas raised them right, baby. I mean, they look good in the 21st century. I mean, they look sharp. And then you'll watch two or three of their movies, and they look even sharper. And the old dress that they used, the flowing sleeves and the silk and all that, it's just, some of the guys wear it perfectly. I think they should bring it back as a way to dress if that people want to. I love the Renaissance period. So I like dresses, especially since the accident, that are, floor length, and I have little ways of, accessorizing them. And people go, "Well, where's you going? Is it your birthday or something?" I'm like, "I'm cleaning the house." I get so much shit from that. Used to get a lot of shit from that when I was on Facebook. It was always, "Are you cleaning the house? You look beautiful today." "Yes, I'm cleaning the house." "Why don't you do less for it? You men can swim and look bad. We wear sweatpants." I'm like, "I don't know the sweatpants." You couldn't catch me dead in sweatpants unless somebody changed me after I died. Excuse me. But even then, I think I'd have a problem and come find them. I'm not nice. And yeah, I believe in reincarnation, which actually was proven. It was a case called Aubrey Rose in New York. If you've never heard of it or read the book or seen the movie, look at the movie. I cried through most of that movie. This poor girl. And some of these kids, they come back, they remember. They're young, and they still remember who they were in the past life and what happened to them to kill them in the past life. With me, it's heights. I can do them finally. I had to do that in the army, but you can't be around me. Not where you can shove me, none of that. You stay back there where I can see you. Same when I was in the army, jumping for shit. It was like, don't get on that thing yet. Guys were pretty cool to us women. Then we got women fighter pilots. I've seen them come off those carriers. Yes, girls. And the one that comes back there and land that bitch, it's horizontal. She'll land that fucker on the carrier and let the nose down. Love you, ladies, by the way. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of all of you. But I'm glad to have been part of that. I haven't yet seen where it's been acknowledged that we women, the first companies of women, did not know that we were going to be regular army. We didn't know this. We thought we were going to be wax. We had all of our luggage confiscated, but they had told us to bring white t-shirts, tennis shoes, white socks, this kind of thing. So we're going to be out there in those, not even in, any uniform until I guess graduation, And we were lucky, I think, because the guys they really tried to get us. They told us that after we graduated, and it was like, okay, well, screw you. This is why we're all bowling, because this is the only thing open on Sunday with the base that you could get alcohol at. So everybody bowled. I was bowling one time, the bowl came off and landed right on the general's foot. It was so fucking funny. He never did charge me. I was in civilian clothes anyway. Thank God. I didn't get my name tag, so I did not offer a name. Sorry about that. Let me. It was the same thing in Europe, you know. I ran through Europe because I knew I wasn't going to be there. You know, the army doesn't put you in very long. So I was born in Heidelberg, Germany. So I'm grabbing my kid like a football and I'm running through the Louvre. Got to run through Italy, go to, you know, the Vatican, and get him baptized by the Pope, meaning you get a medallion, somebody sprinkle water on his head, and they said it was the Pope. It was not the Pope. It was just paid. You pay a lot of money, and they'll say it's the Pope. It's a good gift we get. Good job, you get it. Let me tell you. Roma was beautiful. All the countries I visited was extraordinary. When I saw Windsor Castle, Windsor Castle in flames, I about broke. And then Notre Dame was in flames. I'm like, what next? Shark? Or, you know, you can't build cathedrals anymore. These were built by the Templars, and people don't even recognize that. But we can't, as modern as we are, we cannot build cathedrals like they did. We can't do it, supposedly. But yet, Windsor was saved. They, women, men, children, people from the villages, everybody was burning in the fire, grabbing stuff off the walls, the tables, you know, getting as many things as they could out of there. They did a very good job. They were all commended, I believe, by King Charles II, but it was his mother, Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth II, when it was burning. And I know she was horrified. All of us were. And again, like Notre Dame, I saw this fire fall and I just cried. I had been there many, many times. I loved the rose window. You can go to the Washington Cathedral, they've got a rose window, it's pretty close. It may be exact, I'm not sure now. I think about it, it's been a long time. But we hippies need to unite. We need to get together and say, why the fuck is my 40-year-old still living at home? Not me. I threw mine out at 18. I was like, you got an extra year more than I did. Get out. I live an exit from him. I live an exit from my grandson. I live an exit from my granddaughter, who's only 13. She'll be turning 14 this year. Well, in August. There's a lot going on in August. It's my birthday, my husband's birthday. We have our anniversary, our granddaughter's birthday. We're like, and suddenly, like I asked at the beginning of the show, does anybody else know that time seems to have sped up? I mean, I'm drinking, I know that, but what the hell's going on with time? I turn around thinking, oh, it's 9 o'clock. You know, I've done had my shower. I'm doing all this. It's 9 o'clock. I need to get in the house clean. It's 1:30. Until you went out. They really are cigars, little cigars. And I used to smoke these in Europe because I sold my Marlboros and ice cream and Jack Daniels to where I rented. They loved those three things. And so if you were living off base, that was your rent. And they would give you a little coupon. You couldn't buy but so many cartons a month. And yeah, as many cartons as I could, you know, get, I would just space out, wait for the next month, whatever, because I had a newborn. So that was fun. And yeah, running around because I drug him everywhere. Poor kid. He had a passport at 6 weeks old because I was in a hurry. Then people were like looking down. It was like, how did you get back into a size 1? Because I didn't gain any weight really, but maybe the 8 pounds that my son was 6 pounds only. Well, 5 pounds something actually. But you got me running around with a rifle. What did you expect? He's gonna come out and say hi. Give me a weapon. Cheers. That's my husband coming down. He says he doesn't want to be on the air, but well, there he went. Yep.
Yeah, the customer wrote down one, you jump them off.
Okay.
I got to take my battery charger and all that.
All right, babe. Bye, babe. He just goes and helps everybody every day. It's like there's 3 people that are lined up before we get up. It's, so he never stays quiet. He's always doing something. So he's going to go rescue somebody who's broke down. And he's got a reputation in town. And Augusta's not a small town, and it's been growing. Um, so somehow he's got a reputation. He's retired. I'm retired. We're at home. And I got one woman who's actually lives in my subdivision. We're in a cul-de-sac, and they throw cats out in bags. And so we have a sanctuary here. Cats, dogs, whoever shows up, we're going to feed you, water you, try to take care of you if you're sick, if you're hurt. You wouldn't believe how much you find on Google about being a veterinarian. You don't got to put in you want to be a veterinarian. You just put in this is what's wrong with my cat, how do I treat it, these kind of things, and it gives it to you, and you can go do it. And many of the things are natural. I have found. I studied Mr. Edgar Casey all my life. I've read the Bible, front cover, try and do it every year because he used to do that. And still, people don't understand the King James Bible. When people look at that, they go, "Oh, King James Bible." I'm going to explain who that is because I think there's a lot of folk out there that don't really cotton on this. The book of the Bible was put together at the Nicene Council. I think it was 362 under Charlemagne. And he wanted one Bible for everybody. Now, mind you, back in those days, they spoke in Latin with their backs to the congregation. The regular person didn't speak Latin, so they didn't know what the fuck all they were saying. That's the way they wanted it. Made Mary Magdalene a whore and a hooker or whatever, and really Magdalene is actually where she was from. They find out later on she was really rich, and she was probably subsidizing Yeshua Bar Joseph, or as we know him as Jesus, and she was probably subsidizing a lot of that. In any event, that's neither here nor there. Oh, where was I? Oh, forget what I was going to tell you. Hopefully it'll come back to me. I'll run it back tomorrow. If it does, I'll try to figure out where I left off here. I did not put drama in here. I'm the drama. You come see me, you come talk to me, you hit the live chat, leave a comment. This is what we should do. And this is freedom of speech. I've seen that when they're starting to really enforce laws in Britain, and I shocked that they have the thought fucking place. And I read George Orwell, 1984, and we've gone way past that. And I don't hear anybody say anything about AI. And yet my kids, my grandkids, I'm over there. It's like, my son made a brisket, what have you. I don't see them but 8 or 9 times a year because they work hard. They get home late. They got a daughter. It's in school. And sometimes she's homeschooled. So I don't want to, interrupt that flow. And so I call it high holidays like Catholics. I was raised by Catholics. And I don't believe in organized religion. And yet, of course, I wanted the Pope to bless my son. So I was raised Catholic. I was from a Catholic nunnery school. Them bitches are amazing with a ruler. It's amazing what they can do with that bitch. You won't never forget it. And you actually be looking there. I found out they used to take us to a room all full of windows at the adoptee kids. So somebody could see you. They wanted to adopt you. And I used to rip up dolls' heads and throw it at the window. No, fuck you, I don't want you. So I've been mean from the get-go. I have a sister as well. She was younger. I had 2 half brothers, it turned out, when they finally found me at 30. Didn't like them, ended up down here anyway, but not before I stole, which is funny. The person who looked me up was my husband's sister, who was married to my half brother, which made my husband my brother-in-law. When we met, it was like instant attraction. We've been together over 3 decades, almost 4 now. And it just clicked right away. And I was, first thing I said after he left, I turned to his sister and was like, "Tell me he's not married." He's getting a divorce. Oh, fucking cool. My husband was sitting there and I've been trying to divorce him for 10 years. So I gotta hurry this shit up. Ended up divorcing him myself after I returned to San Antonio. And then I married my husband there, who was, again, the brother-in-law. He went with me. He'd been begging me every day for 4 years or so to marry him. I finally caved. We had the best wedding. We had nobody but friends there. We had the whole top roof of our apartment area, which was the party thing, and it overlooked the pool. And they put a slide there as well, so you go get drunk down, get your champagne, and go on down to the water, or just get it from the side of the pool. We had it everywhere. We had a great time. It was a beautiful wedding, and we had it all paid for. We did it, a little at a time for that year till it was all paid for by the 8th month, which is our birthdays and stuff. So that was great. Beautiful pictures came out. That cost us more pretty much than the wedding, including renting the tuxedos. My husband and the best man, they were like, you cannot put us in this because I took them to the tuxedo shop and I picked out what they were going to wear. I was like, this one, because it was like James Bond look. It was the white with the black pants. And my husband looked so good in that. And then Rick come out, his best man. I was like, what are you bitching about? This makes you look 10 times more handsome than that you had on. And so, of course, it turned out that's what they wore. My son gave me away. He was 13. And he was in a tuxedo, hated the tuxedo. As the photographers are trying to get, stuff, and other friends of ours are trying to take photos, I had to grab my son like 5 times, put him back in the tuxedo for the pictures. It was a very good job. He was really a very good kid. So we did that, and then all craziness broke loose. His mom was dying, his dad was dying, his grandma was dying, everybody was dying. We had just lost one of the boys, and that's a story. Maybe I'll write that book. May he be his memory be a blessing. I do borrow that from the Israelis. I love that. Uh, he was an amazing young man. He was the only one that was going to graduate high school out of 5 kids. And we called him kids, but he was already 18. His brothers were 20 and 22, I think. He was killed. He had just gotten a Volkswagen. He was in his senior year, about to graduate, weeks from graduation. And he was hit by a truck driver and it killed him. We had to rush back to Texas because my son couldn't believe it either. There's a story behind that too. He saved my son. And so did his sisters and brothers. They saved me and my son when my husband tried to abduct my son. And then tried to kill me at the same time. If it hadn't been for them, I don't know what would have happened. And still, you had to jump off the car and roll in the ditch because I was clinging to the car trying to get my son out. It was that bad. And they ran, and they got my son out, and they ran, and 3 different vehicles took off in different directions, so he wouldn't know where they took my son, but he was safe. And then I jumped and rolled off the car. It was that bad. It was nuts. I was in high heels and a suit because I had just come from a job interview. Plus, I'd seen attorneys. I ended up firing 3 attorneys after thousands of dollars, moving to San Antonio, and then divorcing him myself. With the judge going, are you sure you don't want child support or anything like that? You should pay you back college and all that. You've got thousands of dollars he should be paying you. I was like, ma'am, if I couldn't be responsible for my own child, if I couldn't feed him, I would do that. But he's never contributed to the child in his life. The child is 9. And I see no point to continue to do that. He's free to see his son when he wants. He's free to pay something if he wants to, buy a birthday gift. It's entirely up to him. But if I couldn't financially take care of my son, I would be asking you custody. And she liked me. She kept saying, you got to go to a law school. You need to go to law school. I will take you on. It's one of my, I think, what was it she said? Oh, there's a title. But I was already working for the state in a civilian job. So I was like, I can't do that. I had just started working there a couple of months ago, and I had my own I hired my own team, and I was able to pick who was going to be our computer section and IT section. So, and at the time, Dell was it Dell? It was Dell. It's been a long time ago, but they were new, and so we got them all in and got them done. And I had to hire people and all that. So I was used to running divisions, and that's what I did. It was. I don't mean to feel, follow the lead, get out of the way. I'm lead. You need to get the fuck up out of my way. You need to step. I ain't got time for stupid. So, and I would hire people that I got along with, but on a temporary basis. I got to see what you can do. And so I can't say I was a good one. I didn't have to fire anybody, thank the Lord. I did talk to them a little bit here and there. And the problem with that is because you could not type faster than you could read. I type 145 words a minute without errors, but I speed read. And they all couldn't get over even the 60 words per minute. So I was like, again, you can't type faster than you can read. Don't worry about that. Just keep practicing, get up to 60. Read your book, know what you're going to have to type the next day, because it was right in front of them. They had the book. and that helped somewhat. We didn't have anybody fail, but it came close. And that was the last time that I taught typing. Um, but I used to go out when I was in San Antonio. We used to go out and watch the Air Force people go running around, and we'd go ahead and get them captured. And for 3 days, they'd be captured. Get them out. We fed them shit. We told them, don't ask about this. You're on a bivouac. You are out here to kill this and do that. And this was the last of their supposed basic training. It's like 4 weeks on that. And so we're fucking these are all officers. We're all non-coms. And so don't ask us anything while you're on this trip. If you don't know what it is, sit down, look at your maps, keep your weapons ready, okay? And all of us had run this ourselves, before we put people through it. So we knew what it was. It wasn't hard at all. Not at all. Compared to our training, this was a piece of cake. There was one rule: don't ask us anything, because we would be there judging, on either side of it. So yeah, and they were stupid. They asked. So I sent them directly to the Air Force. It was also their training base for those who was on it, for their nurses and doctors. And yeah, they would catch her for 3 days because we had so much fun with it. You want me to answer that? Go over there, turn left. It was Camp Bullis. It was still, it was next to the water, not the San Antonio Grande, but it was, yeah. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I still miss the military. It's been 40 years technically, I think. But I went right into civilian, and you have to had a lot of clearances still and all that done. My son and my daughter-in-law have had to do the same. And they investigate you and your family. They make no quibbles about, they don't get in touch with everybody you ever knew. Been there, done that. My son's going, oh, it doesn't bother you, Mom. I was like, seriously? So this shit I still can't talk about. Because I worked with all officers and you pick up shit. But I think they forget you're there. I don't know. But- So if you see me, if you're one of the family members, I'm the last remaining member of my family, besides my son and grandchildren. So that my line is still alive. And my sisters and brothers' lines are still alive. They had kids and all that. But of the direct family, I'm the last remaining. And they passed away from cirrhosis of the liver, both my sister, my brother, and my father. My mother didn't. She had a heart attack. She sat down and made chicken dinner for everybody after church. And she sat down, and they wondered why she wasn't eating. She had died after she sat down. So it was fast, because no one noticed. So I wasn't there. I managed to make it in to see them both when they were still alive and they were ill. But when you're in the army, you just can't stay for 3 months, 2 months, whatever it is that the time that they have left. Not that I'm not heartbroken about it to this day, because they took in two little girls and they were already in their 50s. In the Breed magazine, we had the front cover because this was the first adoption for a poor family to take in kids. So the government would pay you until the kids were 18. So that's how they bought the house. And when the house was paid off and I was 17 and I was going to the army, I'm waiting. I'm on delayed entry. And the sister screwing up, totally royal. She was a piece of work. She did not work ever, ever. And yet her husband died at a young age, had 3 insurance policy. She had, I think it was $100,000, maybe $150,000. The next day she's broke. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. This woman was so stupid. No, I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying. She got drunk and she wanted more liquor, and she drove around to the liquor stores and they weren't open. And she ran a cop car off the road so she could ask him where they were selling liquor at, because she couldn't find any. This is just, you can't make that shit up. And he's seeing like 4 or 5 kids. And her son had to have 3 kidney transplants, which brought me back and forth. I was so angry at her. The third time was her fault. She didn't give him his rejection medicine. She didn't tell him where he was. She had left Chicago, and that's where he had always been treated as even he was an infant. From that time forward, he had a really bad time. He's a great kid, and his aunt was there, and my husband and I and my brother and his wife, we had headed in to take custody so that he wouldn't go to the state. And he knew his aunt really, really well, and she lived right there, literally downtown Chicago, which is where the hospital was. And he was, so we asked him, you know, do you want to go with us or do you want to go with her? And he was like, I want to go with her. And so we were all happy with that. Yeah. And he's grown into a fine, handsome young man. He's got a lovely law degree. He's a great kid. His mother's gone though, and he doesn't seem to care about that or the other four kids. I hate to, but I didn't see anybody on live chat today. Hopefully you'll comment if you pop in. Again, I'll try to throw something up on Facebook, but I don't know if I can get it in there. So please, hippies unite, come talk to me. Let's do something about what the fuck the man's doing. Are we really this callous that we don't care? No, we're not. We care. We give a shit. And on that note, guys, I gotta go. Come see me Friday. Toodle pip.